Hello once again, and welcome to another video review for The Wind and the Willows. We're into late summer now, so we're winding down these glorious summer months, sadly. But great episode this week, Hall for Sale. This is one of my absolute favourites. I remember it on the Lord Toad and Other Stories video, which I remember getting as a child. I remember it so vividly. And the 3 episodes on it, Lord Toad, Hall for Sale, and Toad's Harvest, love all 3, absolutely brilliant. So, without any more ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going to press play right now. Here we go. Okay. So, Hall for Sale, from Series 4, as they all were on that video. And I love this because it's got many key scenes in it that just define the railway problem for a start, that obviously was a very big part of Series 4, on running the whole way through, and brings out an interesting side to Toad in it, the relationship between the main characters, and a wonderful scene at the end with a bit of a turning point the other side to the Weasels. Let's turn it up a little bit. So, as we get into it, we've got it's set in August, of course, so absolutely right for this month. And this was directed by Francis Vose, who this was one of his earliest episodes, and also he had the animation team of Andrea Lord and Monica McCartney, but also an animator called Stuart Sutcliffe, who I believe this was his first episode, or it's definitely the first one with his credit in the series. And he went on to work for Mackinnon and Saunders in later years as a puppet maker, I think, puppet specialist. Stuart, if you're watching, please do correct me. It'd be interesting to know as well which scenes you animated. I do love this episode. I like the way it starts in the Wildwood. Now, interestingly, with this time of year, if you look at the other late summer episodes I'm doing, a lot of them mention the harvest, the gathering in of, getting ready for the winter months ahead. And as we get into autumn, we've got a lot of harvest episodes there as well. So this one is a bit of an anomaly in that sense. As you can see, we've got Badger doing nothing of the kind, and not getting ready for the winter. He's off to London in a suit that I don't think we've seen before, or a jacket we've certainly haven't seen before. And Badger, of course, is the most concerned of all of the railway problems, so he's off to London to see if he can find out more. Very convenient for the storylines, as Badger's out the way, Toad gets up to no good. So we've got to zoom in here to see that the Weasels are in fact camouflaged, which we've never seen before. We've never seen them do that. Just often, if they're hiding, they're just hiding, but not with plants or anything. Now, I love this animation of Toad sleeping, the way the camera pans out. Now, this is one of those classic scenarios where it's a little bit far-fetched. We've got the Weasels dressed as quite well-dressed gentlemen, and of course Toad can't see that they're the Weasels, which is plainly obvious to us, the audience. And in this episode, they are railway solicitors, as we'll see shortly now. I love that sequence of the deck chair. It makes total sense of how that would happen, but only Toad, of course, could make it happen. And that's a set we've seen it before in Fighting Fit, and it's not one we see often. Well, I think it only pops up in Series 4 and 5. Now you can also always tell a Francis Vose episode. He had particular puppets, and Jackie Cockle had the other puppets, and you can just tell that it's the different Toad. He's just got a different look to him. And there's some great comedy in this episode. I love the script, and I love listening to David Jason doing Chief Weasel in that sort of slightly posh English. Well, he's trying to be posh, but he's still very comedy. It's not coming across properly. and the henchman as well. And the way he said there, meant to say apologise, but he says a drop of line. We're getting all the words mixed up. I love the costumes in this one. Look at that vibrant red and blue in the weasels there. Really beautiful, those striped jackets. I think bits of these costumes exist in the archive still. I don't think the whole outfits are there, but like one of the hats, for instance, and one of the waistcoats. Now this is great when you look at it as from an animated point of view. You see the Chief Weasel's got the dialogue here, but you see how alive the other characters are. Particularly interesting to watch Toad, where he was thinking there. You've got the finger sort of tapping, looking around. He's taking it all in, but he's never still for a moment. I mean, obviously he is. We've got holes in there, but he's always so alive, as Barry has always alluded to. A restless character. And of course, this is where things turn for Toad. If he knows a lot of money's involved, he starts getting interested. I love this next shot here, this one here. The way the camera pans and then dissolves into the next scene. Just love that. I mean, it's a classic camera trick, but I just love it. And when we come in here on the riverbank, really making use of the vast, the vastness of the set there. I've always been intrigued by that line where Mole said, "I'm sorry to nag." I used to think, as a child, I used to think they just had an argument. Like Ratty saying, "Sorry to keep you waiting, I'm sorry to nag," but I guess he's nagging now, but we've got to go and keep an eye on Toad. Look at that set, isn't that beautiful? We don't always see the light shades there. Look at that, put in specially. We assume there's no ceiling there, but they're actually hanging, so rigged from above there, so you can get full animators access, of course, and the lights and everything. And I love that pose of Toad. We don't see him. So this is what I love. I think it's Francis Vose he's directing here. Toad with his legs propped up on the desk, with his feet up there, legs crossed, looking very relaxed, looking very at home, looking very much he's in control of the situation, when of course he isn't. The weasels totally take advantage of his stupidness. And then we've got that animation of Toad again, listening and kind of Weasels, of course, talking him into this idea of selling his home to the railway company. It's a great idea, a really great idea for an episode, even if it is recycling old material, And what's interesting as well, and I got this as a child too, is Toad. You almost get a sense that Toad's suspicious here and there, but he never quite goes all the way because he's so stupid. There are moments where where he's got the back to the weasels. It's almost like the sense that he's got a bit of sense there. He's a little bit careful, especially considering these are the so-called railway people. Like here, for instance. He's been scratching there. All those books, I always wonder, are they actual miniature books they made, or is it a row stuck together like a block that was made? I suspect they were blocks, or the majority of them. Look at that. You can't say it. David Jason at his best again. And I've never heard David Jason sound so different before, when he's doing the Chief and the Toad. It's incredible it's the same actor. I love this whole sequence of signing the contract as well, or reading the contract. So he's reading this contract, and you can almost read it yourself. It's a bit tricky to read, but it's exactly what he's saying there. Eyes rolling. It's complete gibberish. As Badger says later when we get to that scene. But I love the comedy here, the pacing. asking for a pen. So the chief asks the henchman for a pen. Henchman nicks Toad's pen and he says, "Fuddy," like that, correcting him.
I have one just like it, you know. Oh, Fitzy. Oh, well done, Mr. Toad.
Now this bit coming up, this always intrigued me as well, where so the chief's asking for Badger to witness it. And it's almost like, well, the chief obviously knows that Badger's away. So it's almost like he's saying that to absolutely rule out any possibility that this could be the weasels behind it. So it's kind of interesting thinking there in the script. But this bit confuses me, I think maybe it's just the henchman being an idiot. So he's asking to sign it. Why doesn't he sign it with another name? He signs it with his own name, although we can't read that. Is that henchman? We don't really know, but...
If you could be out by the end of the week, please. I don't quite... Leisure, the new business review. Now, we must be...
To be fair to the weasels, they're doing this very well. And I love that strength for this ratty and mole approach. It's got a lovely sort of bright look to this episode. You do get the feel that it's somewhere outside. A lot of sunlight coming in, shining through those beautiful large windows. It's just got a lovely feel to it. And that when I had that original video, and I think it was in the summer that we got it. I think I've said before, I got that video. My brother, who was into the Wind and the Willows then as well, got another video, the Happy Birthday one, which was a W.H. Smith exclusive. And we were just so excited, getting a video in those days was such a treat. They were so expensive. All of these were $7.99, which doesn't sound like a lot now, but back then that was quite a big deal for kids with pocket money. Trying to save up pocket money. And all those episodes, even though the last one was an autumn episode, they just had this wonderful summery, good weather sort of feel about them. There's Toad in his classic suit, which is very rare for this series, for Series 4. And Series 5, Now this scene is one of the best and most interesting scenes in the whole series. We never see Toad get quite this nasty. And the others' disbelief at how he's behaving here. It's one of the most interesting scenes. Very adult, very mature, very, we don't see these sides to all these characters. Mole gets very furious in the moment.
What do you say, Toad? It doesn't really matter now.
So Toad doesn't want to give away, obviously, that he's selling his home, but he is building towards that. He's trying to say he's going away, but it's not really working.
You meant to say something quite different, and you said something quite different.
So they're being very stern to him. In his own home, I would add. You think of the amount of times they're very they're not rude to him, but they're very, they're giving him his comeuppance. They're telling him how it is, that he's... This silence here. Very awkward silence. There you go.
If you must know, it doesn't matter because I have sold the place. What? I have sold the place.
Dear Mole can't believe it.
I sold it for 50,000.
Wonderful wide shot. Now that's great directing. He's just said he sold the place. And you go wider to take in the fact that this is a big place he's sold. You've got the table in the front there. You've got Toad using the space and being very over the top. And he's been really horrible here. And Mole can't believe it, And Badger, voice of authority, points out that those miserable holes in the ground, Toad puts it, and they won't be there, and then Toad starts realising now. So he's starting to regret how he behaved just then, which is nice. So you can forgive him. You can deep down he doesn't mean it. You just lost it for a moment there. He's probably sick of being told what to do, being bossed around by the others. So it's a really interesting script, so well executed. And Mole still can't believe it as well. But Badger, to be fair, he's keeping quite calm throughout this. He's being very stern. The fact that he's on his feet and he's lecturing Toad. But Badger was almost suspicious at this stage anyway. Milk and fleece. Look at Toad's posing there. I mean, that's interesting, and that is very Barry, to be honest. That's a Barry pose there. Beautifully balanced. And yet Barry wasn't involved at all in the series at this point. He was, he'd set up Bear Boards Productions, I believe. Or, you know, was involved with Arbon, so I'd say. And it would have been great, though, for Barry to be involved in these later episodes. But, got very fine people working on them. Double blinking.
The contract. Have you got it, Toad? Have you got a copy of the contract?
There we go. So the contract. So this is what Badger really needs to see.
Go and get it.
Go and get it like that. And Toad with these eyes like that. It's like.
As I thought, the whole
Close up of
thing is
Badger's trousers there. Obviously focusing on the contract, but I just realised those trousers are in the archive too.
which gives your home
And of course
to the
Toad.
weasels.
The weasels? Oh no.
And talking about the archive as well, now the puppets have been given to the archive. We've got 2 checkered suits, so it's interesting. They're always trying to find out which exact one is it. You have to look exactly where the squares lined up. But there are 2 checkered suits. They're both in the archive, and I believe only 2 would have been made. And great directing again, where we see another wide shot where Toad's taking in the fact that, oh my god, he's sold his home to the weasels, my lovely home. And again, showing the vastness of the space. And every one of those sets in total is so vast, so beautiful. And this as well, and I always felt for him in this shot as a child. I still do now, you know. Zooming out from that lovely clock on the mantelpiece, and you look at him and you think, oh, he's been an idiot. Yes, he's been nasty and cruel as well, but he's a bit of an idiot, a bit of a child, a bit of a kind of a character that we can forgive and feel sorry for, and we empathise, and it's beautiful, you know. And then you've got the weasels coming in again, and of course, we're so glad that Ratty Mole there, as is Toad. You could come for him, there's backup, and there's Badger. Nice build up to Badger there, you see. Now, talking about interesting scenes, this for me is another fantastic scene, certainly for the weasels.
It's all right. You'd better take the place.
And how the weasels' characters develop here.
Mr. Toad is back to
And I love that Toad is like, what are you doing? This is not what we discussed. So Toad hasn't worked out what Badger's doing yet. And the weasels are so stupid they don't see through it. And Badger would never let this happen, of course.
Of course, there are 1 or 2 things to clear up.
Really good script again. So Badger's saying to clear up. Weasels obviously refer to that literally. It's like, oh, we don't want tied in it.
Obtaining goods by false pretenses.
Now, just a minute.
My word, how the magistrate enjoys a good
I
case
love
of
that
false
shot.
pretenses.
Badger. I just wish he'd be towering over the chief a little bit more. Maybe the camera should have been up slightly.
Right, all right.
Or pops Badger up a bit, you know. But
Come on, we're going on.
If that is your
look at that lovely mole pattern Toad. They're
Hear what you want
all
about.
good friends, aren't they?
Let me
They're all
explain.
friends. So
You bought yourselves a toad.
Badger now is explaining
To
the
be demolished.
urgency and importance of this railway
Make
problem.
room for the railway.
And it's great comedy thrown in here where they kind of,
Oh, Mr.
you look at that lovely shot of Toad
Same
like,
railway
and here,
is planned to run
for
through
the
the wild
weasels.
wood. And
that shot of A.
the weasels dead.
And of course now the weasels realise, what, that's going through the wild wood.
That's robbery, that's
That can't happen.
vandalism. It's got to be stopped.
Then let this be clear, Chief Weasel. We are all threatened by this railway, river banker or wild wooder. And the only way
This
to
is
fight
really
it
nice,
is
this.
together.
That's right.
Chief Weasel agreeing with Badger there. It's
Join
wonderful.
with us in the fight,
That's right.
and we will forget this. little
And now
incident.
Badger's talking about right then,
Try any more of
joining
your
them.
evil,
And
you will find yourselves
what's really
behind
interesting
bars.
is we've got a couple of episodes after this in series 4. The next one, no weasels in it. One after that we see them a little bit, which is Monster of the Wildwood. And the one after that is where they get even again. They want to steal Toad's fireworks, but there's another touching scene at the end of that as well. Slightly similar to this, but not as strong. Like that, the pen. we've heard "Oh Mole" before in one episode. Now we've heard "Oh Chief." Vast majority of "Oh Toad." But yeah, as I was saying, with the railway problem continuing, and then remember is the episode where we have another scene similar to that where Badger's basically saying we need to fight this together. We can't keep fighting amongst ourselves. And then after that, we've got another one without the Weasels, and then the final one of series 4 where the Weasels are there, but up to some mischief. But you'll see, we'll get to them eventually. But it's kind of I like that one because it's kind of a turning point in series 4. And even though the Weasels get up to their old tricks in series 5, as I've always said before, series 5 for me feels slightly removed from the rest of the series because it's kind of. It feels less mature, if that makes sense. Yes, it's brighter, arguably funnier in places. It's all about Toad, but I think when you look at the original 4 series, that episode to me is kind of a turning point for the Weasels. Not completely, but I love that scene, and for me, that's why that's one of the best episodes. I really do think that. So there, yeah, very interesting one. Like I said, recycling old ideas of Weasels dressing up and pretending to be someone else, but it's probably the cleverer of all of those, using them as or letting them pose as railway solicitors. Really great. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on it, those who watch them. Yeah, let me know what you think. And apologies, I've had a lot going on, so I haven't replied to messages yet. I will get around to them, I promise. Yeah, thanks for being patient. It'd be good to get more and more of a discussion going on each of these, and certainly when we go back to them, that's what I plan to do as well. Anyway, let's leave it there. I do have a bonus episode this week as well, so it's that time again, so it's Gypsy Toad, which is a great one, so please do watch that as well. Otherwise, join me next week for, which one is it? Just remind myself. Absolute classic from series 1, Wayfarers All. Classic that comes straight out of the book, but adapted accordingly for the series. So, look forward to that next week. Enjoy the summer, what's left of it, and I shall see you soon. Cheers then.